I think summits like this are critical for the industry because most of us work within our company silos. We work with our customer bases. We don't often get the opportunity to link up with our industry peers, and I think it's critical that we share our learnings, that we share the things that work and the things that don't, because as an industry we're all tarred by the same brush. You know, if one sector makes a mistake, then you'll find all of us get labelled the same way, and most of the time in this increasingly complex environment, we need to work together to drive some of the right decisions from governments, from legislators, etc. There's a lot of different ramifications. I think the key one is you can go out of business. I think the other critical factor, and probably more important than whether you stay in business or not, is if you get it wrong, you can harm a lot of people. You know, nowadays with more and more people buying consumer goods and consumer foods rather than cooking for themselves at home, what you find is that, you know, one incident has a huge potential impact on a marketplace. I feel the three most important things when putting together a crisis management system is to make sure you have clear responsibilities defined within your organization, you have a very clear framework to work within, and that the whole organization understands that process and that framework. There does seem to be an increase in food product recalls and incidences in the industry. I think this is driven by two things. Firstly, the legislation is becoming far more complex and sometimes difficult for companies to keep up with, which means they can be caught out. The other thing is consumer awareness has been growing. Our consumers are becoming far more understanding of the world we live in. There's also a lot of notification through social media, through press. There's a lot more general awareness, and there's a lot more choice. So consumers generally complain more readily, and quite rightly so, if the product's not right. So that's I think for me the key drivers for why we're seeing more incidences. I don't think the industry's got worse, I just think it's got more complex. The most important thing I've learned since I've started at Callebaut is flexibility. I think you cannot work in the food environment without having an open mind as to what's coming. You have to be prepared for changes in legislation, for surprises, and I think the ability to work flexibly, to work within the areas where there are between the black and the white, those are the areas where you need to be strong in order to succeed. I think the most important challenge the food industry faces today is harmonization of legislation. We don't have this globally. Some countries have unique legislations which don't fit or are out of line with others, and that creates a complexity which is unnecessary in the industry. I would describe this event for people who haven't been before as an opportunity to meet your peer companies, an opportunity to find out what other companies are working on, to keep up to date with what the newest best practices are, and as a great forum for networking.